So I just finished from the office and I said, let me stop by and then make one video before I go back to the house. And the video is about an issue that has been agitating my mind for some time. And I just said, let me discuss it. It's about the spate of demolition of properties in Lagos State. What answers? So someone is made a commissioner for a particular ministry in Lagos State, and along the line he is saddled with the primary responsibility of demolition of houses. Several houses have been demolished in Lagos State in the last couple of months. So people will just be given notices, given days to pack out of their houses, and that failure to do so, you have yourself to blame. And the next thing is caterpillars will move in and then destroy those houses. Plenty houses. I'm not talking about thatched houses. We're talking about houses that were well built and were expected to be for generations, expected to be inherited by the children of the persons that built those houses. But what we have seen is a spate of demolition, deliberate, serious demolition from day to day. And we have seen the commissioner for that ministry that is in charge of the demolition, coming out to give explanation. He's explained a lot of times about the reason why government is demolishing. And one of the reasons he has always given is the fact that these houses were built on the right of way. That's the primary reason given, that these houses were built on the right of way. Well, that's fine. Every government has the power to take decisions for the states, which is exactly what the Lagos State government has done in the circumstance. But I have a few things to say. I just have a few things to say. Does anybody understand how things operate in Lagos? A lot of people understand that. So let me not even ask the question. If you know Lagos State as much as I do, you cannot build any structure without approval. You just cannot build any structure without approval in Lagos. No. Lagos is not just like any other place where things can be done anyhow. No, Lagos is not like that. Lagos is that place where lots of things have been properly arranged and organized. And therefore, before you can put any block to the ground in Lagos State, you must have obtained approval of government. So here is my question. Why would government give approval for building only to demolish those buildings later on? Why? In which country would you see that kind of a thing going on? Approvals are given. People pay tenement rates, people pay ground rent and everything to the government. And approvals are given by agencies of government only for those places, those buildings, after they have been fully erected, to be demolished. Come on. I'm sure this cannot happen in any other place in the world. It cannot happen. Because government would go bankrupt as a result of damages. Government will pay damages and go bankrupt in other places of the world if you try that. In countries where the laws are well respected, and where people are made to take responsibility for actions that they do, where people are made to pay for their inactions or for actions that they do which invariably affect people. Whether you're a government, whether you are an individual, you are made to pay seriously for it. I'm sure Lagos State would have gone bankrupt now if it was in another part of the world. Because, like I said, it is difficult for you to build anything in Lagos, put any block to the ground without approval. So is it not ridiculous that after giving approval, Government will now go around demolishing. Or maybe after the first government has given approval, the successive government will come and then demolish. When it has to do with money, benefits, we said that government is a continuum, isn't it? So why is it not so in this regard when it has to do with approvals that were given by the same governments, by governments before that very government? Government is a continuum. So why do we have a situation where a new government comes on board and then begins to demolish and calls it building on illegal structures? Why? Isn't this ridiculous enough for us as a people that things can be done this way, things can go on this way without consequences? And let me say something. You see, some persons saved money for the entire of their working lives. They've worked for many years saving money, and the saving that they did is what they used in building their permanent residences. Humongous sums of money. They did that in expectation that they're going to live there till death do them part, that they're going to hand those buildings over to their loved ones, their family members or their children, and all of a sudden you demolish. Are you aware that some persons have died as a result of the shock of the demolition? Yes, some persons have died as a result of the shock of the demolition. They are unable to absorb the shock, and because of that, they've passed on. It is important for government to be responsible in all states of the Federation of Nigeria. A situation where government institutions would give approval and all of a sudden they later emerge and begin to demolish and saying that it was built on waterway. You that gave the approval, did you not know that the approval is given for the building, construction of a building on a waterway? Look at this other one where estate agents, developers will go in and then develop the estates, which most times you think it is the most secure way to have your property erected. And government will also come and demolish that and say they never gave approval, or sometimes they say they gave approval but it was wrongly given. So who takes responsibility for the damages done to the persons that have suffered, whose buildings have been demolished? I think that government in Nigeria, State of the Federation of Nigeria, must be more responsible than what we currently see. The spate of demolition in Lagos is worrisome. It's worrisome at a time like this that things are very difficult in the country. Nigerians are not smiling. So the man that had already constructed a building is made to think of building another one. Where does he get the money? In an economy that things have become so hard like this, where does he take the money to embark on another round of building? When the cost of cement is so high and the cost of building materials are equally very high. So where does the Nigerian citizen get the money to do all that? A lot of persons have talked about ethnicity in the demolition. I don't want to believe that, because Lagos, for me, is a place that doesn't know much of tribe. Lagos is a melting pot for every Nigerian citizen. In fact, people across the world live in Lagos, and therefore I don't want to believe in that. My only worry is, having given approval for the construction of a structure, why would government then go to say that the buildings were made on waterways? It's, for me, irresponsibility on the part of government, and there should be consequences. Now, our courts must be ready to award costs against governments that behave like this. You know, courts must rise to the occasion. Yes, if it is if it was built on waterway, okay, so the building must give way. Then adequate compensation must be given to the persons that built those structures on approval of government. That's the only way justice can be meted out to to the persons that have been affected. I do hope that Lagos will be more circumspect in its actions moving forward, beginning from the action of approval of construction sites. And when you have given approval for construction, nothing should take you back for demolition after all the necessary approvals had been given. It is uncharitable to do that, and you are killing people when you do that. I do hope that this government in Lagos State will look into this kind of situation. You don't go around demolishing people's houses like that after you have given approval. It's sinful to do it. And also successive governments, the government that will succeed the current governor of Lagos State, should also have it as an article in his administration to ensure that people's houses are not demolished anyhow in the name of not having been given, having built on waterways. If government had given approval, then government has a responsibility to honor the approval that was given. Honestly, we have to be human in all that we do. Even while in governance, we have to be human in our activities in governance. Many thanks for always stopping by. I do have this belief that this country can be better governed, that we can take people-oriented decisions. We can take decisions that are better for the generality of everyone. Government must be for the happiness of the greater majority of the people, and once government inflicts injuries on people, government must be made to take responsibility. If government doesn't know how to take that responsibility on its own, the courts in the land should rise to the occasion and protect the rights of the citizens. Many thanks always.